Hello PHILO-notes friends, welcome back for another edition of our daily whiteboard. In part 2 of this series of editions about the history of the development of Greek philosophy, I have traced the development of Greek philosophy from the sophists to Aristotle, with emphasis on the problem of knowledge. Now, in today's edition of our daily whiteboard, I will present the development of Greek philosophy, particularly ancient Greek philosophy, from the Stoics to the Skeptics, this time with emphasis on the problem of freedom. To reiterate, the classic period of ancient Greek philosophy ends with Aristotle. Now, after Aristotle, philosophy took a different direction. Here, the problem of philosophy was no longer on cosmology, that is, the problem of the world stuff, world order, and world process, but on the person's freedom from the world. This desire for freedom from the world, which came after Aristotle, was viewed as the restoration of the divine perfection of the human person, an inner perfection which approximates divinity. It is important to note that the human person was conceived in antiquity as an entity that can approximate divinity. And it is also important to note that the background here is that the world is full of evil, of debaucheries, of wickedness, which have corrupted the human soul. Thus, the need to free oneself from the world. Those who attempted to free the human person from the world, at least in the context of ancient Greek philosophy, were represented by the Stoics, Epicureans, and the Skeptics. So let me briefly sketch the key concepts in Stoicism, Epicureanism, and Skepticism. According to the basics of philosophy, Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy developed by Zeno of Citium around 300 BC as a refinement of cynicism, which teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means of overcoming destructive emotions. It does not seek to extinguish emotions completely, but rather seeks to transform them by a resolute asceticism, a voluntary abstinence from worldly pleasures, which enables a person to develop a clear judgment, inner calm, and freedom from suffering, which it considers the ultimate goal. Thus, according to the virtue of the Stoics, to free oneself from the world, one must cease to desire, to suffer, to struggle, that is, to strive for the solution of the problems of the world. In a sense, one must put herself in a condition in which there is nothing worthy of desire, in which the will is affected and influenced by nothing. On the other hand, Epicurus suggests that for one to protect herself against the world, one must lead a life that is free from suffering. And one way of doing this is not to ask too much from nature. In this way, one suffers a little and enjoys as much as possible. However, it is a mistake to equate Epicureanism with hedonism. As we know, hedonism is the pursuit of pleasure, sensual pleasure, so to speak. Thus the famous hedonist motto, "Eat now, drink now, be merry, for tomorrow you will die." On the contrary, Epicureanism urges one to seek modest pleasure to attain the greatest good, which is the attainment of tranquility and freedom from fear or ataraxia, as well as the absence of bodily pain or aponia. Lastly, we have the doubt of the ancient Greek skeptics. Ancient Greek skepticism is generally applied to either a member of Plato's Academy during its skeptical period or to a follower of Pyrrho. Pyrrhonian skepticism flourished from Anicedemus' revival to Sextus Empiricus, who lived sometime in the 2nd or 3rd century CE. Thus, the two main varieties of ancient skepticism, academic and Pyrrhonian. It is known that almost every form of ancient Greek skepticism has something to do with the claim that humans have the inability to gain knowledge of the world, and so the need to suspend judgment. In the case of Pyrrho, who was so overwhelmed by his inability to determine rationally which competing schools of thoughts during his time was correct, doubt then is the key to attaining peace of mind or ataraxia. In fact, after admitting to himself that indeed he could not attain absolute truth, Pyrrho gained peace of mind. Thus, doubt for the skeptics is the key to freeing oneself from the wicked world. In fact, the skeptics claim that for one to get rid of the unrest of mind, one must cease to strive and must give up the solution of the problems of the world, being convinced that these problems cannot be solved. To reiterate, the Stoics, Epicureans, and skeptics have one common goal, that is, freedom from the world. The Stoics seek to become free from the world through virtue, the Epicureans through happiness, and the skeptics through doubt. Alright, that's it for today. Full transcript of this video is available at PHILO-notes.com, and in the succeeding editions, I will continue to discuss the development of Western philosophy from the pre-Socratic to the modern period. To keep you updated of our daily whiteboard editions here at PHILO-notes, simply click here and subscribe. Until then, thanks, take care.